Blog Talk Radio.
Are you ready to take a bite out of the competition? Are you looking for ideas to make your business better? Welcome to the Core Business Show with Tim Jacquet,
sponsored by Apple Capital Group.
At the core of every successful business, you'll find people making a difference. And with each episode of the Core Business Show, we talk with those people, examine those ideas, and explore the strategies that make them special. Now, the host of the Core Business Show, Tim Jacquet.
Good morning and welcome to another edition of the Core Business Show. I'm Tim Jacquet, your host. Today, my special guest is Andrea Williams. She's the president and CEO for Tehillah Enterprises. She manages artists, gospel artists, and she has a whole portfolio, and we're going to talk to her about her company, how she got started with it. If you have any questions, feel free to call in at 347-324-3460. Again, it's 347-324-3460. Or you can pose a question in the chat room, and I read it on the air. Or you can do Twitter at #AppleCapital. Andrea, welcome to the program.
Welcome. Thank you so much. I'm so thrilled to be here and just to get a chance to talk with you and to talk about business and see if I can help somebody out there who is maybe considering starting a new business.
Great. I really appreciate it. I guess to begin with, you were an 8-year Grammy Award employee?
Yeah.
Wow. Tell us that experience. And how did you mushroom from that to start your company?
Yeah, well, music has always been such a huge part of my life. I have people on both sides of my family that sing. And when I was 7 years old, started to play the piano and studied for 10 years, classical piano, and just music has always been such a huge part of my life. And I was at a job, I guess it was about 15 years ago now, and I was like, this is not fulfilling me. I'm just doing it to get a check. And I just kind of had that feeling like there's so much more to life than this. And honestly, just prayed. I was like, God, open the door for me to do something in music, which was my passion. And it was the lady that was sitting next to me in a desk. She's like, you've got all this administrative experience. Have you thought about having a job in the music industry? And I was thinking, okay, this is not New York, this is not LA, this is not Nashville. Do they even have jobs like that in DC? And so, but it got me to thinking, and I looked in the Washington Post and actually saw an ad for them looking for an administrative assistant. It didn't actually say the Grammy Awards, but it said Music Industry Association. And so I applied, and when I walked in the door, I just knew. I knew that's where I belonged, and so that's how it kind of happened. Actually,
wow.
A prayer that I prayed, and I wish all things happened like that for me. But it was just one of those incredible experiences. I mean, it opened so many doors for me musically. I had the experience as far as like performing and writing songs and things like that, but I didn't have the music industry experience. And so working with the Grammy Awards at the DC chapter really gave me that. And I did a lot of things there, planned events and networking events and kind of like meet and greet with artists, and coordinated like some schools to come in and talk with people like Anthony Hamilton, or set up events with Amy Grant and Vince Gill and U2 and John Mayer and just a whole lot of household names. And so it really got my feet wet in the industry and it also helped me to know who the movers and shakers were and how the whole entire industry worked. So that's kind of how I got my start at the Grammys.
Wow. What is it like? Everybody don't have the opportunity to peer in. I was talking to Edwin Hawkins about a couple of weeks ago, and we talked about it, but it's not like everybody have an opportunity to go behind the scenes of the Grammy. What is that like?
Right. It's a really phenomenal experience for me. It was because, number one, I mean, you get to rub shoulders with some of the artists that you've grown up with and listen to their music, and you're like, oh my gosh, there they are right in front of you. And so that was definitely a really cool thing. And also for me personally, it gave me an opportunity to really hone my skills as it related to like event planning or just having, more than anything, it really gave me opportunity to learn the music industry, to understand the players, It really is a team that makes up a great artist, and it helped me to kind of understand that. But as far as the Grammy Awards, it was great because I got to meet a lot of the members. A lot of people see the Grammy Awards, and all they see is the show in February that we do, but it's really a lot more than that. It's 365 days a year, and
Wow.
There's workshops, there's seminars, it's really a music industry association for people in the industry. So it functions like any kind of association would. It's just some of the members are popular, well-known people. But I mean, there's a producer and engineers wing, there's the Grammy Foundation, there's Music Cares that actually helps people that are kind of down on their luck, if you will, in the music industry. There's a lot of different facets to the Recording Academy, which the actual name is National Academy of Recording Arts and Sciences. And so there's a lot of different facets to what goes on there. But for me, it was a phenomenal experience because it had me actually working full time in my love and in my passion, which I think is really what life is about.
Wow. That's right. They are located in D.C., RIAA,
There's
right?
a chapter in D.C.
Okay.
Yeah, there's actually 12 chapter cities. The head office is in L.A., obviously, but there are 12 cities that have chapters.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. And from there, that passion, I mean, what a wonderful opportunity. Then from that, you were able to live out your dream to start your own company. And so what was it like when you say, hey, I go in today, I'm going to give my resignation, and I'm just going to go and step out in faith and move forward my own passion, what I wanted to do?
Right.
Well,
that path wasn't necessarily a straight one. I mean, when I got to the Grammy Awards, I don't know why, but I've always had this entrepreneurial spirit. And it's not like there are people in my family that have their own businesses, but I just always had this goal of just kind of wanting to getting ideas and working them out and seeing that this could be beneficial or lucrative or it could be helpful to someone. I've always had a passion to do that. So even when I stepped into the Grammy Awards on my first day, I was thinking, okay, I want this to be my last full-time job, and just always wanted to do that. And so while I was working there, in addition to getting to know about the industry, people would call on me to write for them. So there would be different music websites that would ask me to do CD reviews or to interview a particular artist or to do a press release, that kind of thing. And so little did I know that I was actually moving into PR. And I realized while I was there that I had a passion and a desire to write about people that positively affected me musically. People who I heard their music and I was like, oh my gosh, I love this person. Why doesn't anybody else know about this artist? This artist is phenomenal. And so I realized, I got a lot of pleasure out of promoting people and telling other people about a particular artist that I thought would bless them. So after being at the Grammy Awards, and even while I was there, I would have major record labels call me, can you interview this person? Can you do a bio for this person? Can you do this? And so it kind of further solidified me in the music industry. And as I continued to write and interview people, I realized this is really what I wanted to do. And then there were some shifts that were going on at my job, and it just really made me realize, okay, this is the time. And I felt led to go ahead and jump out there and take that step of faith like you talked about. And it was definitely scary. It was definitely scary. I remember my passion is gospel music, and I remember being at the Gospel Music Workshop of America in Dallas that year in 2006. And that was actually the day after I left my job. And I was in my hotel room, and I just had this moment like, what in the world did you just do? I was like, you left dream job for a lot of people, dream job, and you're going out and you're doing what? And you're going to support yourself? And it was like all these negative thoughts were coming in my mind, and I gave myself that one day to kind of trip out. And I said, okay, the next day you're going to get it together, Andrea, and you're going to walk in faith and believe that, this is an idea that you really believe that God has given you, and you just walk out in faith and believe that, this is going to work out and that you're going to have clients and you're going to be able to make money and support yourself and support your business. And surely enough, that next day, I did not look back and have not looked back ever since. So, yeah, that's my story.
So from that, when you started, you just approached people as clients, or how did you get your clients?
Interestingly enough, because when I was at the Grammy Awards, my passion there was gospel music as well. I had a lot of people that I knew, a lot of artists, a lot of managers that had actually approached me while I was there. Can you manage me? Can you do PR for me? And I couldn't do that because of a conflict of interest. So I already had people that were approaching me at the time to represent them. So basically I reached out to the people that I knew and kind of let people know that this is what I'm doing full time now. And the clients just came. They just came. And initially, I had to do a little bit of reaching out, but I've been blessed that there have been very few times in the last 5.5 years where I've really had to reach out to get clients. I have at certain points, but in general, most of the people either have heard of me and then I also have clients that come back. They'll do one album and I'll do PR for them for that particular record. And then they'll have a second record and they'll come back to work with me. So I have just been blessed that, I've had repeat business and I've had people tell other people, oh, you need to go to Tehillah Enterprises. They did such and such for me. So it's been kind of a snowball effect, which has been such a great thing for me, especially with the economy that we're living in, that I still have people that are coming to me and giving me their business and trusting me with their ministries and trusting me with their dreams. So I feel really honored.
So, and taking that, for example, on your website, so we can see what the differences are from a publicist versus a manager. Now, your company is more management or publicist?
More PR, yeah. We're more of a publicist. Yeah.
Can you
and basically
talk about the differences between the two?
Yeah. The difference is a manager, for instance, they're a person that really controls the whole idea. They kind of guide the whole artist's career. So they will be the person who will book an artist on a major gig. They'll be the one to hire the publicist. They'll be the one to try to get the artist in the room to talk with an executive about a record deal. They'll be the one who will try to get an artist on a major award show or something like that. So the manager is really the one, I call them the person that puts feet to the dreams of the artist. And they're really the one that kind of guides the entire career of the artist. A publicist, on the other hand, is the one to really expose that artist to the media. So they will be the ones to get the press coverage. They will be the ones to get you in the newspaper or have you covered in a blog or set up a radio interview for you. The publicist is also the one that helps to image you and brand you, really kind of create a perception about you as you are introduced to the media and as you are introduced to your fan base or the industry as a whole.
Okay. So unlike the manager that does all the lit work, the publicist is mainly, I think when Hawk was talking about, you have to have this complete team of people. And with this particular team, you guys mainly cultivate their whole image, the whole brand, the whole product to the world.
Right, exactly. And a lot of what we do has to do with reaching out to media to cover our artists so that every time you turn around, there's an e-blast about our artist or there's a press release or we try to generate interest when it comes to our client and pitch them to media so that media will be excited about the artist and in turn want to cover them, want to interview them, want to put them in their latest magazine. So, and the publicist is really an important part of the team. It's definitely a crucial role because anytime you hear anything about any artist, whether it's mainstream or gospel, 9 times out of 10 that came from a publicist or that came from a marketing person. So it's definitely a crucial role, whether it's releasing a project or whatever it is that the artist is doing that's newsworthy, the publicist is really the one behind that, really kind of steering that vision, if you will.
Okay. What's the daily life of a publicist? How do you actually go out there and publicize your artist?
Wow. The daily life of a publicist, wow. Well, a lot of it really has to do with connecting with people, whether it's via Facebook, or phone calls, or emails. A lot of it is connecting with media, trying to get your artist on this TV show, or trying to get your artist in this newspaper, or whether it's a TV show. Like in gospel, we have Bobby Jones Gospel, so it might be being on the phone with the producer, trying to get your artist on for that particular show. And it's also administrative in nature. I mean, you are doing like press kits for artists. You're writing press releases and sending those out, and you're sending press kits out and that kind of thing. And also, one of the things that we do as well is setting up CD signings or CD releases or things like that, helping to set up promotional tours, radio tours, setting up interviews and those type of things. So it is largely administrative, and it does, because it's public relations, it's dealing with people a lot and keeping your artist in their face and saying, don't forget about my artist. Can you put my artist in your newsletter? And that kind of thing. So that's a big part of what I do. And it's also meeting people, connecting with people, traveling with artists on high-profile events, those kind of things.
Wow. Can you name some of the people that you actually manage on your roster? I know you have some on your website.
Right. We have, actually, on all of our artists, we do PR for, so we're not managing. But Martha Munizzi,
I'm sorry, yeah, PR.
Yeah, that's okay. Martha Munizzi, also Ernest Pugh. We also have artists like Conrad Miller and Gary Samuels, Teresa Pinkney, Philip Carter, Marjane, and a number of other artists that we work. There are some artists that hire us for a particular time period, whether it's just to promote them for one particular project or whether it's to have us for like a whole year and try to kind of set up their marketing and their PR for an upcoming release or something like that. So, yeah, and we've been honored to be hired to do bios and things like that for like Marvin Sapp and Byron Cage and some other high-profile artists. So we've
No, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, and so, I mean, we've definitely had an opportunity to work and do work for some great people in gospel music.
Okay. Yeah, it's because I see you have, I know you have Byron Cage, and you play his music on your website.
Yeah, I do, yes. He's actually my minister of music.
You have Richard Smallwood, Kim Burrell, and Pass, and Kurt Franklin, and Tremaine Hawkins, and Israel, and Donald Lawrence. And working with these people, these artists, I mean, it's kind of ironic. I was telling somebody from SMU, an artist is a small business owner. They have a brand, they are making income, and they're a full-time business. And it's even the church musician is a full-time business because not only they work for the church, but they're doing all other type projects throughout. They need to run it like a business. And then, believe it or not, I think SMU decided, a year ago, to offer that to all of their music students, a small business class that's geared to artist management and so forth. So it's kind of not really weird, but at least they're educating the people, hey, the new guys coming up, you're a business, and you need to operate like a business. And this is how you have a team. So it's kind of giving a little bit more education in order to manage their careers. And talking about, just some of the struggles that you had as a small business coming up, anything you would like, if you knew about in the past that you went for this particular direction, this direction didn't work out, and you went this direction, any advice you can give to small business owners about your business, what they should not do?
What they should not do, huh? Well, let me start with what they should do.
Okay.
Really, one of the things that I wished I had done is do a little bit more research, do a little bit more detailed planning before I launched out. And I think that really helps to define exactly where you are and where you're going and have specific goals as to what success is. And so I think that I would definitely offer that advice. Do your planning, do your research, and make sure that you have a clear understanding of the business aspect of what you're getting into. And also, I would say be prepared for cycles. There are going to be points where sometimes it's a feast or famine. Even though a particular year was a great year for you, don't necessarily assume that the next year is going to be a great year as well, because the music industry, as well as life in general, is up and down, and just be prepared for that. I would probably say one thing not to do is, and maybe this is probably not what you're looking for, but I thought that a lot of people would be supportive of what I was doing. People that I thought were friends, I thought they would be like,
Wow.
"Oh, that's so great. You're doing wonderful. I'm so proud of you." And some of the people that I thought would be supportive and helpful weren't. And that kind of surprised me. But I would definitely say that if you really feel that passion in your heart and you really feel like this is something that you're supposed to do, be faithful to that. Continue to work, continue to move in that direction, continue to educate yourself. You to learn as much as you can about your industry. My particular industry, the music industry, changed dramatically from the time that I got in it to now. And so you have to be flexible as far as the industry that you're in. Things will change, and you have to have the ability to change with it. And your business needs to be able to be flexible as well to change with it, because if not, if you're still doing what, it's like cassettes and 8-tracks. If you're still in an 8-track world and people are doing iPods now, you have to make sure that you're moving along with where everybody else is, or you will be lost in the dust.
Even
so
CDs are becoming...
I know, exactly. Yes, so that's definitely one thing that I would recommend.
It was kind of strange. It was one event about a year ago, and I think we were doing something with high school students, and they said, and they had CDs. We put everything on the CDs. They said, "Well, what else to do with this?" Okay. I said, "Well, why can't you just put it on the blog or something, and we can download it or iTunes?" I said, "Okay, well, things are really changing." And saying that, I know you've been in the industry for a little minute. Napster, this wave of this destructive force that have gone through the industry, and now we finally into the post-Napster. Have you seen in recovery, things are much better? Things are a little bit more controlled by the industry now since they've closed a lot of these sites down?
Yeah, I think in a way it is. I mean, I definitely think it's better than where it was years ago. But I do think that illegal downloading is still present, and people are still doing it. And I do think that as the industry evolves, hopefully record labels will be able to stop it completely. But with the leaks that are happening, it always seems like there's some sort of technology that the bad guys get that the good guys don't have, and there's always this catch up. But I do think that things are much more controlled now than they were back in the days when Napster was the thing and everybody was going to it and illegally downloading music. So I do think steps have been taken to move in the right direction.
Yeah, definitely. I think a couple of artists say, "Well, finally, we do get paid."
Exactly.
With YouTube is some people had questions regarding YouTube, but actually, it's a great vehicle, and they do get paid. So every time someone downloads something, they do get something, then nothing at all. Yeah. Anything to close with? Any advice you would give a small business owner in managing their own business you'd like to share?
Yeah, I think one of the things that I would like to share is I think it's easy to get caught up in the day-to-day and not take the time that's needed to look at the entire vision of your business and how your business is doing as a whole. I think it's important to step away, to take some time to just see, okay, well, where am I? Is this where I wanted to be? And what is my competition doing? Is there something I can add to my business to make it more viable, more competitive, so I can be on the cutting edge? And where am I as far as the industry goes? How are people perceiving my business? And I think just taking that time out, I just know as a small business owner, it's so easy to get caught up in the day-to-day and handling the clients and handling the customers and things like that, and balancing the books and the daily administrative tasks that sometimes all of a sudden you look up and you're like, oh my gosh, another year has gone by, and where am I? And is this where I wanted to be? And so that's one of the things that I would definitely recommend that small business owners do. Don't lose that fire that you had when you first started it. Remember the reason why you started it and continue to keep that goal in mind, because ultimately all businesses really serve a need for the public and want to help the public. And so I think if you keep that in mind and keep that goal in mind, that, you know, you'll never lose sight of where you are and where you're going. That's something that I would definitely recommend.
Wow, well said. Are you taking new clients?
Yes, I am. I'm almost at my max. You heard me hesitate. I'm like, I'm almost at my max, but I'm actually bringing somebody else on, so she will definitely help me to deal with all the clients I have. And it's a blessing when people want to work with you. So, yes, I am.
Okay. So how can they contact you on your website, your office?
Yeah. They can contact me. My office phone is 888-844-7701, or they can go to my website, which is TehillahEnterprises.com, and that's TEHILLAH Enterprises.com. And they can also email me at Andrea, ANDREA, at TehillahEnterprisespr.com.
Okay. Any Facebook or Twitter pages?
Yes, they can definitely get me on Facebook and on Twitter, and both of those are in my name.
Great.
Yeah, Andrea R. Williams.
Great. And lastly, regarding the name itself, how did you come up with that name?
I heard the word Tehillah somewhere, and I honestly don't remember where I heard it. Somebody was just asking me this yesterday, and it was something about the word I just liked, and it actually is Hebrew, and it means sing unto the Lord. And that's basically what our business does. We help to promote artists that sing unto God. You know, so I heard it and loved the word, and then I heard Byron Cage record Shabbat and had the word in it, and I was like, oh yeah, that's it. That's the name of my business. So it's unique, but I think it represents what we do.
Right.
Yeah.
I really appreciate you coming on to the program. Appreciate your
Thank
time.
You.
Thank you so very much for sharing your story with us. Thank you again.
So okay, take care.
Take care. This has been another production of The Core Business Show with Tim Jacquet. Thank you for listening. You can download this episode on iTunes or on Blog Talk Radio. An outline of this interview would be available on blog.Apple Capital Group. Thank you for listening to the show. Take care and have a great day.
Thank you for listening to The Core Business Show with Tim Jacquet. For more information about equipment financing and asset-based loans, visit our website, applecapitalgroup.com. That's applecapitalgroup.com. Or call us at 866-611-7457. We hope you'll join us for our next episode. And remember, you can always get to the core via iTunes. You'll find all our previous episodes there. And thanks again for listening to The Core Business Show with Tim Jacquet.